Your ability to detect high-level threats is critical to your chess improvement. Not seeing threats is a primary reason players lose. You simply didn't see the punch coming or you were too late to stop it. I've already given you the building blocks of key chess threats in 4 video lessons on the 16 forcing controlling moves, on the 14 strategic goals, the 13 chess tactics, and how to find chess tactics with power moves. Go look at those first, and I'll put the links in the description below. In this new threat detection series, you will get invaluable practice at detecting and discovering the threats of the world's greatest players. These threats are usually prepared within 1, 2, and 3 moves, and at best are double threats, which are very difficult to detect. There are generally 2 kinds of threats, tactical and strategic. A strategic threat might be a threat to gain space, which you then convert to a tactical threat to win material or mate the king. You'll be asked to pause the video to detect the threats. Okay, this is a game between Fischer and Lapiken, played in 1956. Fischer opens with knight to f3, knight to f6, g3, d5, bishop to g2, and bishop to f5. And as most of you should know by now, at the Chess Edge channel, we don't discuss openings. We look at the principles. We try to figure out how to outplay our opponents and understand the moves having to do with strategy and tactics. And that'll make you a better player faster than anything else. Okay, castles, e6. Well, it opens up the bishop. These are obvious things, right? Defends this bishop. d3. Now, there are a lot of other variations. I mean, here, possible moves, rather, right? So don't worry about that. So we can just look at, what they're trying to do. I mean, now this pawn is stopping this knight and this bishop. Okay. It allows c4 to be pushed as well. All right, so c6, he's defending his center. He's making a very strong center. Notice that this bishop on g2 is on the light square, and it's x-raying these light squares. Knight to d2, knight to a6. Little violation, but maybe he wants c5. He can sneak in here. But, you know, knight on the wing, can't do a thing. Knight on the rim, chances are dim. So anyway, let's see. Okay, he plays a3 to stop bishop here, stop knight here, which will redirect the knight to c5, where he probably wanted to go anyway. And now, interesting. So, you know, this is the cool thing in chess. You have your goal that you want to try to impress on your opponent. So Fischer clearly wants to chip away at this d5 pawn to make this bishop stronger. Okay, so wow, look at this. This is a bad move. I would say first it creates power move number 3, undefended piece or pawn. And it's moving a pawn at the expense of development. He still hasn't castled yet. Backward pawn. Okay. Knight hits it right away. He goes after it right away. Hits this undefended pawn and gives him the tempo. And he's hitting this bishop. So he's threatening to get the bishop pair, right, by capturing the bishop. You know, that's the main goal in your middle game, right, to get the bishop pair if you can. Or to create favorable imbalances between knights and bishops with pawn structures. Okay, queen to d7, defending the pawn. So Fischer takes the bishop pair, and he creates doubled pawns. He has a weak pawn here now as well. All because of this push here, this b5 push. So he gained something from this. And knight to b3, going for a trade if he wants. And black plays h6. Bishop to e3 developing. Also, here's an interesting thing to notice. Okay, so this bishop, you know, you always want to make your pieces as mobile as possible. And so this knight is blocking the development of this bishop. So that's a priority. I like to look at what the players are probably thinking in their moves, their move selection. Since there are other moves possible here, you could have played b4, right? Chase the knight out. But he made this a priority. He goes to that. Okay, h6, and he develops the bishop. Hitting the knight. It's a threat, right? He has the initiative now, right? He's forcing play 2 against 1. The bishop's defending the knight. He has 2 attackers against the knight. The knight has to decide what to do. He can either capture or run. So he runs. And knight slides in, hitting the undefended pawn, right? This is interesting, right? The knight blocked. Now the knight blocked the defense of this pawn by the queen. So he's still, and he's hitting this pawn, he's hitting this pawn, but this undefended pawn. So it gives him the forces play. And the pawn defends. And now, oh, wait a minute, let's look. Every time a player moves, and your own moves as well, you have to be critically aware of what weaknesses you're creating when you make your moves, especially pawn moves. Right, you're always leaving a square behind, Josh Waitzkin. And so now this knight, my God, it's undefended. That's huge. It's power move number 3. All right, so the queen goes in. Now this is interesting. This queen move is so multiple, has so many things it can do now. There's an immediate threat, let's say, on this pawn. Take 2 attackers on here, so it has 3 attackers on this pawn and only 2 defenders. It's also x-raying this center pawn. Now this bishop, it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing to me that this player played b5 because he weakened the diagonal, making this bishop stronger. The other cool and insidious thing that this queen move does is it allows it to come to c3, x-raying this undefended knight. Okay, now the rook moves here. What's wrong with that move, we may ask? Yeah, that's an undefended piece. So these things are really adding up right now. And you'll see, all of these things will be taken advantage of very shortly. So now, actually, now it looks like he can win a pawn. So this is interesting. I'm going to have, this is a tactical, let's just say a tactical issue. So pause the video and see how you can win a pawn here. So pause the video, give you a couple of seconds. Okay, he goes for the temporary sack of the knight. He opens up this bishop, and queen takes, pawn takes, and now he has a double attack on the queen and the knight, a fork. And the knight throws in the in-between move. It's a tit for tat or an equal or better counterattack, so he's attacking the queen. But, okay, so now this is interesting. Okay, now pause the video and look at the best move for, or a possible move for white, taking advantage of features that you have already learned by watching the other videos in the links that I'm going to show you that will be below in the description. Okay, watch those videos and then you're going to be able to figure out how to really take advantage of these things. All right, so, okay, notice that the queen, not only is it being attacked, but which is critical. I mean, it's attacked by the pawn. So the queen, so when this queen moves, this queen is going to have to move. But the queen is undefended as well, and that's important. All right, but we still have the undefended rook and the undefended knight. This one's already attacked once, right? So we can go for a gang attack, 2 against 1. He does that simultaneously hitting this knight. And unfortunately, the queen has to move now. You know, this is really what allowed me to start beating experts when I came up with the whole power move thing, preparation for a power move. You know, when the queen came here, it's a preparation to come onto the c3 to attack the knight, the undefended knight. And that allows you to stay one step ahead of your opponent. And I'm telling you, this is 80% of chess. All right, so the queen moves, and now it's just too late, right? Now we're taking advantage of all the weaknesses that black made, because the queen's going to have to come off of the defense of the knight. So bishop takes, queen takes, and bang, he's not up a piece, but look, oh, also we forgot to point out this undefended rook over here as well. Yeah, so we have 3 pieces, but he's hitting, let's see, wait a second, hold on, oh yeah, not only that, now I see, do you see the other move? There's a check, power move number 1. Always saves the day, right? This is, so when this rook moves, we have this check. let's say the rook moves here, then we have check, and we win the rook and the game. Peace up. So anyway, hope you got something out of this. We're going to continue this series of threat detections. Thumbs up if you did. It really, really helps. I found out recently, I've never asked for these thumbs up before. Well, I'm starting to, and I have a few times. But anyway, you get the point. Talk to you later. Bye.